It's been 5 years since Genshin came out. I was actually one of those people that started back then. I played Genshin for about 3 years semi-consistently. Eventually, like some others, I reached my goals, I had my fun, I kinda got burnt out, I got sick of the game, I wanted to move on, and then I eventually quit. For some reason though, I could never fully let go of this game. Here and there I did dabble in for a bit, but then I saw the pile of quests and story and all the new characters that they want you to pull for. I got daunted by the sheer amount of content, that I went on hiatus again. That cycle continued on for about the next 2 years. But then, the day came when my favorite character had her birthday, which is Ayaka. For the people that are newer to Genshin, Ayaka's birthday is also the release date of Genshin itself. On that day, since a long while, I actually took the time to play Genshin. And it was fun. A lot of fun. I already saw before that day some improvements and new features to the game, but seeing them in action did spark my interest by a lot. Not only that, but reminiscing the good old times, how much fun we had with the game, it was quite nostalgic. It did give me a lot to think about on that day. Since Ayaka's birthday, I played almost every day. I haven't really done much besides the dailies and artifact runs, but I had motivation to try to do the daily grind. And I think that is kinda the first step. Because of that, I obtained the Stella Fortuna for Ayaka from the To Temper Thyself and Journey Far event. It gave me motivation and a new goal in this game. You know, Genshin kinda reminds me a little bit of my other passion, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! There we kinda have this saying that you truly never quit and will eventually come back. I guess the same goes for Genshin too. So yeah, I made my mind up and set myself the goal to catch up and return to Genshin again. And try to make the effort to enjoy it again. So I guess the best way is to just get into it. Let's talk about goals. Because that will give you more of a direction of how I want to go on with things. I have 3 goals in mind. First, get Ayaka to level 100. My whole channel started because I wanted to share my journey pulling for Ayaka. Before that, I haven't gotten a 5-star from an event banner. From there on, I just saved up until Ayaka got her banner. And after that, I made it my goal to get her to C6. And that completely by free-to-play means. Which I did achieve. To me, one of my favorite things in games like this is to min-max my favorite characters or whatever it might be. A good example is the recent Pokemon game, where I perfect IV'd my favorite mons and EV trained them, leveled them up to 100 and so on. Min-maxing is something that is not a necessary thing to do. It's barely gonna make a difference. But if you already like something, you're probably gonna do it either way. I love when they add systems like that in games, where you can continue to work on your characters. I mean, just the thought of being able to save up again for my favorite character and to pull for her just makes me really excited. Second goal, catching up to Genshin. The last time I left off in Genshin was pretty much at Natlan. Honestly, really not that bad if you think about it. I mean, it's still a lot for me, but I think it's manageable. I did the main story quest in Natlan, so I guess as long as I'm not missing anything, there should only be the Not Cry parts left that I have to continue. Exploration wise, there is still a lot to do in Natlan. About Not Cry, we don't even have to talk about. The main goal with catching up is just to be ahead with story and exploration, that we don't get even more behind after every release of a new patch, that I can play the game at a comfortable and slower pace. I think that would especially help keeping up with the game, but also when I don't have much time, because of work or when I want to spend my time differently. And also as a safety measure that we have those extra primos. And the last and third goal is making videos. This one might not have to do much with the game, but I think it might be the most important one. Back then, because of this character, I started my YouTube channel. If it wasn't for this character and this game, I might not be doing this whole YouTube thing on Ayaka's birthday. The one thing that I remember, which I slowly forgot over time, is how grateful I am for everything that I could experience, the people that I met and the memories that I made. I'm truly grateful for that. Probably because I'm quite attached to this character, which reminds me of all of those things. I could never fully let go of Genshin. I personally don't believe I can recreate my past nostalgia, and this time around it might not be as fun as back then, but I think I can still create new memories. I love creating and sharing my insights, not only about the game but just in general. I don't want to focus only on the game, but I also want to share some hope on my path. After all, I started with this for fun, and that is why I should continue. Everything else comes afterwards. These are the 3 main goals I want to focus on. To get started with this, let's talk for now about goal number 1. Of course, there is more to it than just saving up for Ayaka. At the end of the day, Genshin is a game where it's all about the wishes. The whole game is structured to having to pull for different characters, that you can progress in the game at difficult stages, and that they can make you wish, of course. And even if I would just like to get the last cons for the level up and just be done with it, it's just gonna end up in the same result as before, where I reach my goal and I have not much left to do anymore. So I think it's a good thing to have multiple motivations. Therefore, we have to talk about other characters and weapons that we might snatch along the way. We should do a roadmap, because I still want to stay F2P when it comes to the gambling aspect of this game. And that's why we have to plan ahead. We only have a limited amount of resources after all. I want to start this off with older characters and weapons. Of course, we want to get Ayaka to level 100, so it's a given that we want 2 more constellations of her. Cyno is a character that I neglected back then, mainly because I instead went for Navia. Therefore, this time around I want to go for his weapon, to improve his personal DPS. Also, because he's one of my favorite characters, I would like to invest into him more, like going for C3. Then there is also Ayato, who also still needs his weapon Diharan, mostly again to improve the personal DPS. But other than that, I think he's pretty much fine in comparison to Cyno. I don't think he needs as much investment. Talking about Cyno, I would like to get a better Dendro support for him, that can apply Dendro long enough for the durations of his burst. The one I had in mind is Baiju. He works really well with Cyno together, and he also heals. But not only that, he can overall help my teams with the lack of a good Dendro applicator. Besides Cyno's team, I want to improve Ayaka's team further. I think it's finally time to get her. The one I'm talking about is Furina. She has become over time a premium support for a lot of different teams. Furina would not only improve my account overall, but also because I have a team-wide healer now in form of Escoffier, she works much better now with Ayaka and the others. Besides some older faces, we of course also want to go for some newer ones. One character is Inefa, mainly just because I like her, but she also seems like a worthwhile character, enabling the lunar charge reaction to our disposal, and giving teams like Ayatos more firepower. There is also Nefer, another not cry character with a new reaction. She is a really cool one. With her, I would have of each element a DPS I could focus on, even though she doesn't do as much with the usual Dendro reactions. As long as Dainsleeve doesn't try to show up in the near future, probably the last DPS I want to go for. I think I already pulled for more than enough DPS characters. That's why I want to try to focus this time around on the supports and sub-DPS focused characters. Last but not least is Colombina. I mean, is there more to say than she's the number 3 of the Fatui? I do like her, and at the end of the day she is a Hydro character, which is always a plus point for Ayaka's sake. But I kinda assume that she is probably meant to be played with not cry characters. Not as that ever hold me off from wishing for characters I like. I would also like to get the weapons for the 3 not cry characters, especially for Nefer, because she is a DPS after all. It is quite a big list, and it's gonna take us a while to complete it, but I think that's fine. That is the reason why I only want to go for the characters and weapons on our roadmap until we are finished with it. This time around I want to be more strict about it. And regardless of what character comes out, the roadmap comes first. Of course, there might be some priorities inside the roadmap, but that all depends on how characters rerun and their timing. I'm still gonna try to make calculated moves and go for certain objectives after we have enough to get them. It's something that we have to figure along the way. But for now, this is somewhat how the priorities are gonna look like. Things like Cynoscons are going to be the last priority for me. Other than that, things could still change quickly, because of the before mentioned factors. At least you guys know, we only go for the goals on the roadmap. That is a given. About any other details, let's talk about it next time. The plan is set and now it's time to execute it. Well, the first step is always to just start something. That's gonna be it for now. Stay safe guys. See ya. ご指導ありがとうございます。